Suella Braverman taps into a right-wing speaker circuit. We're going to read into this more from the Financial Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from the Financial Times with the headline, Suella Braverman taps into a right-wing speaker circuit. The former Home Secretary receives nearly £60,000 from appearances from the US to India. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share us across social media so others are notified of this video. Who the hell pays £60,000 to listen to Suella Braverman? You think it's bad enough the amount of money that people actually pay to listen to Liz Truss? But some people are paying as much as £60,000 to listen to her waffle. I mean, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I mean, I could be a better speaker. Okay, maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit because I'm not a politician, but still, like, it's a huge amount of money. And the thing is, as well, guys, clearly that all right, this is obviously you have to distinct this from Liz Truss, because Liz Truss obviously has that tainted mark of always being remembered as the former prime minister who crashed the economy, was always beaten by letters. He will always be remarked by that. Now, Suella Braverman obviously is extremely vulgar, shall we say, with her comments. Extremely right-wing, I would say, as well. Her language and the tone of her language says a lot about the kind of person that she is. And I think, you know, she taps into those people when it really comes to the issues around immigration and that. But she says it with such vulgar and such anger that it can apply to those people who are generally angry and frustrated when it comes to migrants and immigrants. In such a way that kind of puts other people off. And this is the same person that slandered a lot of her colleagues as well. Now, I don't know whether or not she would switch to reform or not. It would certainly be a massive jump if she was to do that. I don't think she will, but I can still I still think, yeah, that as of right now, there is, while she's not obviously in the leadership contest, she is sitting on the sidelines. She is still trying to make her voice very much heard. She's still trying to make herself like a big political figure. And when you have the people like the Financial Times obviously sticking these things out, it's going to highlight to people that, yeah, she still hasn't gone away. She still is still around, still making noises. And of course, she's still an MP. So, but I just feel like £60,000 for appearances from the US to India. It's just bonkers, in my opinion. But the former Home Secretary, Suella Braverman, has raked in nearly £60,000 making speeches around the world, from the highest of any sitting MP, in the latest sign of how senior Conservatives are cashing in on the international market for right-wing ideas. Braverman, who until recently was hoping to become the next leader of the Tory party, received £20,000 for his speaking engagement in India in March this year, and £25,000 to speak in South Korea in May, according to a new register of MPs' financial interests in it for the 12 months to August the 4th. The register also shows she made a speech in Washington where she was paid £6,500 in expenses for the trip to Edmund Burke Foundation. And she also received £11,800 for a 5-hour talk to a financial intelligence and risk control firm in London, registered last month. They paid £11,800 to listen to her for 5 hours. 5 hours. The payment provides a window into the luxurious opportunities available to former Conservative heavyweights who can tap into a global network of right-wing organisations that are keen to broaden their roster of influential individuals. Still, Braverman's earning pale in comparison to several former Conservative Prime Ministers whose earnings on the right-wing circuit were not included in the register this month because they are no longer sitting MPs. Yeah, the likes of Boris Johnson, David Cameron, and now Liz Truss, they'll be earning more money from her than her, because we don't actually know what those figures are going to be because they're no longer MPs. Liz Truss, who was in office for just 49 days in 2022, made £250,000 in a year after she was forced to stand down, including £80,000 for a single speech in £80,000 for a single speech. It's insane. Truss, who was defeated as an MP in July's election, has begun appearing on the right-wing US platform and featured in a video with Steve Bannon back in February. Yeah, we remember that one. Former Prime Minister Boris Johnson declared an income of $4.8 million last year in the 6 months since he had left office, including an advance payment of $2.5 million for an unspecified number of speeches. The former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who stood down last month but remains an MP, has not registered any speaking engagements for the year. Interesting. However, none of the frontrunners for the Tory leadership, including Kemi Badenoch, James Cleverly, Robert Jenrick, have registered income from speeches in the year. All three had senior government jobs until July's election that preclude them from taking outside work, with Cleverly as Home Secretary, Badenoch as Business Secretary, and Jenrick as Immigration Minister. Braverman, who was sacked late last year after repeatedly undermining the then Prime Minister Sunak over policing and migration, also had an all-expenses trip to Israel worth £27,800 paid for by the National Jewish Assembly and had received £14,000 for articles written in the Telegraph newspaper. Ah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely serving their own interests, MPs, don't they? Definitely serving their own interests here, don't they? The Register of MPs Interest, the first published since the new crop of MPs entered Parliament last month, showed that Reform UK's leader Nigel Farage, the highest earning MP in the UK, making £1.2 million a year from his TV presenting role in GB News. The newly elected MP for the Clacton-on-Sea South earned $97,900 for the month for his work on GB News. Not really going to talk too much about Nigel Farage. I did it on a separate video for those wondering. The document also shows that Labour's Technology Minister Chris Bryant and Advocate White have received nearly £100,000 for books that he's written in his process of writing. £100,000. The payments includes $18,000 for purchasing the rights to have his books turned into films or TV shows. Braverman and Bright did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Yeah, I imagine so, that neither of them wanted to comment on it. I imagine neither of them want to comment on it. Obviously, Chris Bright is definitely raised questions there, and I'm sure all the I'm sure all the Labour haters are going to jump up and down the comments about that one. But that's nothing in comparison to what the Conservatives are doing. The Conservative pay levels are just insane. Who pays £60,000 for an appearance with Suella Braverman? It's just crazy. But this is what you do when you have money and you have power. You can influence politicians to think a certain way, and that's exactly what it is. Literally, she was literally paid to go on a holiday in Israel. £27,800 paid for by the National Jewish Assembly. She was paid by them for an all-expensive trip to Israel. How can you not? You cannot sit there on your phone or on your keyboard, wherever you are, and tell me that isn't paid influence. It's blatant influence. We need to stop this kind of thing, especially when they're an MP. When they're outside, when they're no longer in the House of Parliament, where they can influence things. Not my problem anymore. Although I don't like it, but especially when they're an MP, when they're supposed to be representing their constituents, representing their constituents. They're not representing their constituents. They're representing lobbyists. They're representing companies. They're not serving the interests of the British public. They're not serving the Britain at all. And that's why we need to change the laws on this. These are massive problems, and they need to change. Not yesterday, not last week, not in a couple of weeks' time. They need to change now, because this is ridiculous. Both her, Chris Bright, any of these guys claiming such money, it's just outrageous, guys. It really, really is. But what do you guys honestly think? What do you guys think about Suella Braverman? Someone paying £60,000 for appearances, or up to £60,000 for them, sorry. What do you guys make of all these people making so much money off the back of being MPs or former MPs and whatnot? How does it make you feel? Let me know your thoughts and more all down in the comments section below. If you found this video informative, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further, financially support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.